What's up everybody, Unrested here, doing a walk and talk J-vlog, continuing on with No Negative November, or NoNegNov as we've called it, and we are going to talk today about how safe is Japan. I often get written about this in multiple ways. For example, earthquakes, crime, can I get robbed, can I get mugged, is there dangerous areas I should stay away from? I've heard that this so-and-so area is really bad, that the crime is really high. Is that true? And the best and one of the most positive things I can say is there's really almost zero parts of Japan that are truly dangerous to be in, truly dangerous to be around in or worry about getting mugged or crime. If I were to name any one area that I'd say there is the possibility, it's Roppongi, and that is only because there are supposedly bars out there that will unfortunately drug your drink and make you pass out, and then you will usually get charged a lot on your credit card or all your money stolen from your wallet. That's the worst I've heard about. Now mind you, of course, crime does happen in Japan. Of course we do have muggings. Of course we do have wallets stolen. Sorry, got a train passing by here. Gonna wait for that to go. We've got the typical stuff that happens in any country, but on a very small scale. Yes, murder does happen, but usually you're only hearing about 1 or 2 murders an entire week in the entire country, not just my prefecture or my little city, compared to where, as I lived in Florida, I would hear about multiple murders every day just within my district, let alone my entire state or country. So yes, Japan is super safe. I gotta give a few examples though to really hit the message home and make you understand just how safe this country is. I remember when I first got here, I lived in an area called Sakuragawa, and when I would tell Japanese people about Sakuragawa, they'd be like, "Oh, that's a very dangerous area. I can't believe you live there." And I'd be like, "Oh, what's so dangerous about it?" They'd be like, "Oh, it's a factory area. A lot of people who work in factories live there." And I'm like, well, are they bad people, or is the gang-related stuff with that? And no, not at all. But they told me about an incident. They're like, well, 2 years ago in Sakuragawa, a man was walking down the street and he got punched in the face because he started a fight with someone. And you're like, okay, well, number one, he started a fight, so it's kind of his fault. But number two, like, did he die after he got punched in the face? And they're like, well, no, he just got punched in the face. And like, they were horrified by this, that this was like a massive crime for them. Like, they just couldn't believe this guy walking home had been punched in the face. And this was an example of them of like serious crime in the area. And I was like, wow, if that is serious crime in the area, then holy crap, that is like the nicest neighborhood in America. I should say the worst neighborhoods in Japan are like the nicest neighborhoods in America. So that's what you would really compare it to. I would say what you would consider dangerous is not even going to exist in Japan. What you would consider dangerous in America, or an area that would be considered violent or crime-ridden, just doesn't, the equivalent doesn't exist in Japan. I can't really send that message home enough when people ask me about what areas are dangerous in Japan. For example, another thing is, there's an area next to my part of town called Dobutsenmai, and people talk about it's the dirtiest, most crime-ridden area in all of Osaka. If you go there, it's literally like a really dirty area. It is, it's dirty. There's a lot of garbage on the street and stuff like that, but there really isn't any crime or an area that you feel unsafe. Even the homeless people there won't beg for money, won't come up to you or approach you and ask you for money. They would rather collect cans, because then they're at least doing something honorable to earn their money by picking up trash. So again, the idea of what is dangerous here is nothing close to what we imagine dangerous in Western counterparts. As far as earthquakes and natural disasters go, yes, they have happened in Japan. We've had the Kobe one, and after that there was a lot put into place as far as building codes. There are certain building codes that you just cannot even build a building unless they match all these codes for surviving an earthquake. When you feel an earthquake happen, and you probably will if you come to Japan, you may feel a few earthquakes. I'm sure I've had a handful of earthquakes since I've been here. You will feel the building shake, you will feel it bend, but nothing will fall off of it, nothing will break, no windows will crack or anything, because they are built a certain way to withstand that. They are built a certain way in which to shake, rattle back and forth, and even the foundation itself, certain foundations, the way they are built, literally have rubber, big, almost tire-like columns built into the bottom that are made to bend at will with the earth as it shakes. So there is stuff even put in place for that, and they've done a great job of it. You gotta remember, this is a country that's had centuries upon centuries of experience with earthquakes. They made their buildings, even back in the Edo era, completely out of wood with no nails, because they knew those buildings would survive earthquakes better, because no nails could pull out of the wood. The wood would just bend and warp. It wouldn't break and pull out nails if it didn't have any nails in it. So hundreds and hundreds of years of experience with those. And I think that's another thing people need to understand, is that there's things that a country's experienced for a long amount of time. They've learned how to work around those problems. And some countries do a really good job of that. Other countries kind of slack off, or their government ignores it. This is one thing Japan has not ignored. I don't really think their government's always the best, but they do a great job of making sure building code is up to par when it comes to surviving natural disasters like earthquakes. So those are the two main things I get written to about the most. Is Japan safe? Yes, they've got you covered on those two things. Feel free to walk anywhere, everywhere, at any time of the night. Man or woman, you should be totally safe. Until next time, I'm Unrested with the questions you requested. This is JFAC. Have a good one.